Stop asking about my husband, you guys. I don't know where my husband is. Still my thunder. Elvira. I don't know. I've been listening to Aretha a lot. Hey guys, welcome back to Books Yada Yada. I'm Dina, and thank you so much for watching my channel. So today what I wanted to talk about was the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by GRADY HENDRIX. I just wanted to do kind of a really quick review on it because I feel like this has been reviewed to death.
Stop it. Get some help.
On BookTube. Everybody's been reading this book, at least all of you guys, my friends on BookTube. I've just been seeing tons and tons of reviews. So I had to read it because I had to just find out what the buzz was about, you know, because I'm nosy.
Oh, you'll tell me.
Oh my God, I loved this book so much. And I've been seeing mostly positive reviews. I have watched a few negative reviews. So I'm just going to kind of give you my take on how I felt about the book. So the book takes place in, I think it's South Carolina. And I keep getting confused with Georgia because there's peaches on the cover of the book. I don't know my geography very well, and I'm from here. It's sad. Anyway, so we follow a woman named Patricia, right? And Patricia has this circle of friends, and they've formed a book club. There's a whole cast of characters within this book, which I really, really enjoyed. Sometimes I don't like that. I don't like lots of different characters because I find it confusing, and I'm like, which one is that one? Which one is this one? Who said what? Right?
I'm confused.
GRADY HENDRIX is a very easy to read writer. Even though his writing is very unique, it's definitely obscure. That's for sure. But he kind of puts you in these very odd settings and then mishmashes diverse characters into these settings. And so even though this wasn't like a crazy setting, it was just a typical Southern town, you have this great cast of characters. And it did remind me a lot of Steel Magnolias. So if you guys have ever watched that movie, you will know. And I found myself kind of going, oh, that's that character. Yes, that's that character. Especially Slick in this book reminded me so much of Shirley MacLaine's character, Weezer. Do you guys remember her? She was the best part of the movie, and I love Shirley MacLaine. She's one of my favorite actresses. Slick definitely reminded me of Weezer. GRADY HENDRIX totally, took a lot of inspiration from Steel Magnolias and Fried Green Tomatoes as well, which I read by Fannie Flagg, which I read a long, long time ago. And I honestly don't really remember that book too much because I read it like back in the 90s. But it has that whole Southern baked feel to it. So Patricia is in this book club with all of these other women, right? And they are so funny. You know, you have the funny one, you have the one from New England or from New Jersey, I believe, that Mary Ellen, I think her name was, who, was like the northern girl in the mix and nobody kind of got, but they just put up with. I understand how that feels. And then as the book progresses, they're doing all of these books that they're just not really into. They're covering books like Anne Rule's The Stranger Beside Me. They're covering books about the Manson family and yada, yada, yada. And then all of a sudden there's this man named James Harris that comes into town, and he's very mysterious, this mysterious stranger, and he strikes up a very close relationship with Patricia's family. And soon enough, she finds out that there's something not quite right with him. She is in this quandary because she can't tell anyone the things that she has been seeing. And then you go through a span of time, which I was not expecting with this book. So I think it starts in correct me if I'm wrong, because I finished it like a few days ago. So pieces have already left my brain. I believe it starts somewhere in the late 80s and then it goes right up into 96, 97, something like that. So you're covering a long span of time where Patricia is trying to expose James Harris, but she's too afraid that nobody's going to believe her. And the problem is that James Harris has really forged a friendship along with Patricia's family, but also with the book club members. And it goes very, very deep. And over the span of time, he really enmeshes himself into their community. I identified with Patricia's character so much because I raised kids in the 90s, and I had a pretty close circle of friends who were also raising children in the 90s, and I remember what that was like. And so when you read books like this that take place in a time where, you know, internet is becoming a very new thing, there aren't cell phones for most of the book. I don't even know if there are cell phones later on. I don't know. But it was a different time. It was a different place. We're going on, you know, almost like 25, 30 years ago. It was interesting to me because I definitely could relate to this book club and all of their different personalities and opinions. And, you know, you have the leader of the group. You have the one that goes along with everything, the one that goes along with a leader. You know, you have the ones that are sort of nobody can quite figure out. And it was well done because that exists in most, you know, circles of friends, is you have each, you know, everybody kind of has a different personality. And I enjoyed that a great deal. So the book being told in pretty much, you know, one point of view, Patricia's point of view, you're really rooting for her. You're really hoping that she's going to come out of this alive and that the people around her are going to come out of it alive. You really want to see Patricia just come out of this as unscathed as possible, but not without having some kind of confrontation with James Harris. Yeah, so that was my take on it. I loved it. I thought that, you know, it was atmospheric. The characters were just so great. They were so incredibly entertaining. And maybe because I'm older, you know, again, I'm almost 50 years old. And I just remember having that circle of friends back in the 90s when we were all raising kids and what that was like. And then later on in my life, again, circle of friends where, and I know some of you are watching and you know exactly what I mean, where we're all so different, my book clubs. And I just was putting myself in that situation like, oh my God, what if one of my, like the book clubs that I've been in, what if that had happened to us? We had some crazy vampire just like, you know, really sucking the lifeblood and other things, you know what I mean, out of us. So it was a very entertaining book, and I just love Grady Hendrix. On board now to read more of his books. Again, I've only read the two so far, Horror Store and this one, which has a really long name, and I'm not going to keep saying it. Another book that I'm going to talk about is Hannah Beast. Okay, I had mentioned this in my TBR for this month, that it was a short story, part of the Dark Corners collection. It's a very short story. It's under 50 pages. So it's one of those great creepy kind of stories that's super quick. You're following a woman's point of view named Amanda. Amanda was part of a group of girls who were basically mean girls. And although Amanda's character doesn't come off as completely mean, she's the lesser of the mean girls, she's still a mean girl.
Get in, loser, we're going shopping.
So you're following her story in 1982, where they sort of take in this girl named Hannah, who is sort of like lives on the fringes of town. Her dad's an alcoholic, has a real sad story, and it had a Carrie kind of feel to it. Toying with her emotions, allowing her to be part of their group, especially on Halloween night, where they just sort of beg her to come out and go trick-or-treating with them, provide her with a costume and a whole, you know, feeling of like, you can be a part of our group. We love you, Hannah. It doesn't matter. We don't care where you come from. You can be popular like us. And so Hannah believes them, and she goes out with them trick-or-treating on Halloween night in 1982, and things just don't work out very well at all. And so fast forward, you're going back and forth again between 1982 and 2016. Amanda has a daughter of her own. She's in her 40s, and she is trying to forget the past, basically, of what happened with Hannah. And she is trying to protect her daughter. So it's Halloween night 2016, and she dreads Halloween ever since 1982. And now that she has a teenage daughter of her own, she dreads it even more. I'm not going to spoil this for you because this was a really great short story, and I would highly suggest it. Great for this time of year. Really, again, I was reading it late at night, so it gave me some definite shivers and goosebumps. It's extremely atmospheric. Jennifer McMahon does a great job of really creating this very, very dark. I mean, that's all I could think when I was reading this story was the darkness. And my husband kind of stole my thunder in the last video. So we're going to see probably more of him. I'm adding a new segment in. It might not appear in every single video I do, but because you guys really enjoyed seeing my husband in the last video I did, I figured why not? So without further ado, you guys, here's Ryan's Corner. Take it away, honey.
Hi, welcome to Ryan's Corner. I'm Ryan. Mentioned a little earlier on in another segment with my wife Dina that I love building guitars. So this is just one of my guitars and inlay work that I've done. So this one is a Paul Reed Smith Q24. The original guitar was broke on a neck. I had to strip it all the way down and basically redo from scratch. So this one is the neck. So this is my personal work right here. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of glossy. So this gives it a perfect shot. This is my rendition of the Tree of Life Paul Reed Smith edition that he did. It's a little bit different. He didn't go all the way through the headstock though, which I went through the headstock on this one. Still not done with it. As you can see through the back here, that still needs a little bit of work and a little bit of polish going on. And here is the neck so far that I've done. I've added some different other inlays and birds to it, different parts of the guitar itself. Not completely done, still needs a bunch of hardware. So this is my Q24 edition. I have a Paul Reed Smith 513, the Fireburst Red one, which we'll get to in another segment. So I hope you like this guitar. Please give your input down below. Let me know what you think about my work so far. Hopefully we can get this one finished up and you can see the final product on it. Home projects. So this is one of my home projects. All right. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Elvira. Remember the Oak Ridge Boys, you guys? And it always freaked me out because the lead singer looked like John Oates from Hall & Oates. Was it him? Was it John Oates in the Oak Ridge Boys? Unsolved mystery. Not really, because anybody could just Google that.